today, I think.
Scene 6, Cundall, take 1.
A lot of the projects I worked on have been, some of them have been quite long in terms of timescale, but whenever you get a new project, it's like a new job. It's a whole new team, it's a whole new client, and you feel as though you're in a new job anyway. I don't feel that I'm working for the same person, and obviously being a partnership over many years, you feel as though you've got your little bit, but you're part of the bigger picture. And we did the T building in Shoreditch, which is again another one that's everybody in London knows about it. And they took an old converted, it was a warehouse, in fact it was Lipton's, which is why it gets its name, Lipton's Tea and Bacon Curing Factory, and the top floor is where they cured the bacon, and there were a lot of problems because a lot of the columns had all the bacon fat sort of eased into it, and we were looking at all sorts of options like using bread to try and soak up the bacon fat. So quite fascinating. Family get very bored when I sort of walk around and say, oh yeah, I got involved in that one. It's got 4 air-cooled chillers on the roof. We just got rid of the boilers, and But there are some great projects. Well, I think a bit of it's nature and nurture. I think part of it's got to be in your nature. You've got to enjoy being with people and doing that networking. But even if you're good at it when you start out, you're a bit nervous. And I think I remember sort of some of the early days when first time I went down to MIPIM, for example, which was back in the late 90s, was Rick Carr, and Rick went down with some of his friends in the car and stopped off in a few nice places on the way down, and I just flew down and met them there. And very much they did their own thing, and I just had to go and find people to talk to. And I was lucky enough there were a few good friends there that I'd known, that I'd worked with from some of the big consultancies. And we just got together and started picking up other people and talking to them. It's not something you can easily force on somebody. You can put them in a situation and you can allow them to sort of start trying to work out the best way they can network and find out what interests they have with other people, and be able to sort of set stuff up to meet them and do stuff with them when they come back home. We do get some of our engineers who clients want on their projects because they know they can deliver, but it's just a bit more than that. It's not just continual relationships. We get a lot of repeat business, and we've got some good engineers who aren't necessarily good at networking and doing events and things, but clients keep coming back to us because they've done a good job last time. When we're collaborating with other offices and they've taken a part of the work, or one of their teams is doing some of the project with you, what we found really useful is literally first thing in the morning, half an hour, Teams meeting, have a chat with them. What are you doing today? What about this? Have you thought about that? Have you done this? And having that initial, even if it's only 15 minutes, just to sort of constantly let them know that you're on the case, they're on the case. You know what people are expecting. They don't go off on a tangent for a whole day, or a week even if you don't see them regularly. So having those regular first thing in the morning meetings is absolutely essential. We're not just like a big commercial organisation. It's a partnership which is owned and run by the partners in the business who do get involved in the projects, go to client meetings. They're there for the younger engineers so that the younger engineers can see how to handle themselves in meetings. And I think that's something that's been missing a lot over the last 5 years since COVID. With the online meetings, Teams, Zoom meetings, you don't get the same sense of how to handle yourself, how to work the room in terms of getting what you want out of meetings. And then after meetings, that chit-chat that you have when people are starting to disappear is so important. Whereas on a Teams meeting nowadays, you just go, thanks very much, click, leave. And you don't have that personal relationship, because the business is all about personal relationships, both internally and externally. So, I think we've always pushed that for our next generation to get out there and start talking to people and building relationships and networking, because that's what gets us the next job. It's what oils the wheels of projects that you're working on, so that if there's any problems in a project, you can sit down with the people that you know rather than you've just seen on the screen before, and you've got a relationship with them. So, it's all about relationships as far as I'm concerned.